Hey, what's going on? It's Apex Investor. I have to talk about that last post I talked about. It was about the beta something, the negative beta. Uh, I overlooked that post. I didn't read the whole thing. I just did right now, and it explains why both GameStop in particular, is protected from a stock market crash. The negative beta stock, if you read the whole post, explains that if the market goes up, then the stock goes up too. Uh, but because it is a negative beta, and that only occurs once every 100 years, according to the poster there, uh, Anima Soul, uh, if the stock market goes down, a negative beta would not be affected at all. The best analogy I could use, or that he used in his post, was in the event of a nuclear fallout or nuclear war, the cockroaches survive. So GameStop would be like that cockroach. It would be nuclear proof. So, or in this case, GameStop would be uh, stock market crash proof. So I've been saying this for at least a week or two, that GameStop and AMC exist in their own universe, that no matter what happens to the stock market, it's like they're not affected. They're not in the same universe. They don't live in the same reality as the rest of the stocks because they've been shorted to oblivion. That's my take on it. But this person who's doing a master's in finance has come to that conclusion based on what they've learned in their in college or university, whatever they're taking here. Um, so if the beta is -1, it is a perfect negative correlation. So the stock moves exactly the opposite of the market. My goodness, uh, this is this is ammo for the mainstream media as well. When I think about it, because he's saying here, if the market goes down 10%, then the stock will go up 10%. A beta of less than -1 means this negative correlation is amplified. So the market goes down 10%, then our stocks go up 15%. Um, a beta less than 0 would indicate an inverse relation to the stock market. So it is possible, but highly unlikely. Some investors argue that gold and gold stocks should have negative betas because they tend to do better when the stock market declines. So looking at GME, he said that it's at -2, at least -1.74. So if the stock market crashes, or not if, but when, and let's say the market goes down to, I don't know, 50% or more, then GameStop is going to go up relative to that crash. So let's say, the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and all those indexes go down, plummet to 50%, fire sale, all the stocks will be in the red, and you'll see GameStop and AMC in the green. Probably the only two stocks in the stock market in the green, and not just in the green, by a few percent, like 5% or 10%, but we're talking like maybe hundreds of percent, maybe even the thousands of percent. That's why they're going to blame us. They're going to put the blame on the retail investors, specifically those who bought GameStop, those who bought AMC, that we're the ones who crashed the market. When in fact, the reality is we didn't have anything to do with it. We just bought the stock. We weren't the ones who shorted it. So I really needed to clear that up and explain that this is one of the most important posts, probably the last year, regarding GameStop and AMC and this whole meme stock scenario from Anima Soul, which is the mythical unicorn, aka extremely abnormal negative beta of GME. I was going to say GME. GameStop evidence that shorts have not covered, by user Anima Soul, ANIMASOUL. So that's a wonderful, wonderful post, and finally puts it into um, educational terms or knowledgeable terms, that what I've been saying all along, that they exist in their own universe and they're not affected by the rest of the stock market. And this is hard evidence and financial science, if I could say, uh, of why this is happening, why they are somewhat immune to a stock market crash and whatever else happens to the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and all of that. That they are in their own universe. I mean, we have the stats, we have the numbers when it comes to GameStop. That depending on your source, it will vary. The negative beta will be between minus 1.74 to as much as minus 2.09, which is pretty insane. He says here Bloomberg is at -8, and he puts in brackets insane. We don't know what AMC's is. I wish we knew. I'm going to uh, I'm going to speculate that it is in the minus territory as well. Not just because I have good instincts, but because when we saw the previous market dips, when the whole market seemed to dip a little bit in the last month or so, we had at least two or three of those, and AMC and GME didn't go down with the rest of the market. That's how I know that AMC is also a negative beta. He just doesn't look into the AMC stats. You know what? I might look at that right now. Where would I see that? Beta. I'll look up. Let's look up both. I don't want to leave that as a, unsolved mystery. Oh, we don't know what the beta is for AMC. So let's look at that and just get this sorted out. So look at. So according to this post here on Reddit, not only in Wall Street Bets but on GME, it's the top post on GME with over 10K upvotes. I think on Wall Street Bets was also even more than that. I think it was over 20,000 upvotes. So he's saying the negative beta or the current beta is minus 2.07 on Yahoo Finance. So let's look at that. Um, let's see where I could find that. Where is that minus 2.07 number? Oh, there it is. Beta 5-year monthly. There it is, minus 2.07. So let's look at AMC. Oh man, drum roll. I'm so excited. Oh man, I can't wait for all of you apes to make money. Oh shoot, it's 1.39. Okay, it's in the positive. So, oh man, I'm gonna have to change the title of this video, but you know what? I'm still gonna go with that. I think this is probably off because he's saying that the Bloomberg number is -8. So this could be wrong. The number of 1.39 could be wrong in regards to AMC. But I mean, just looking at what happened when the market dipped in the last 2-3 weeks, AMC didn't seem to dip with it, not too much at least. And GameStop was like, "What? What's going on? Something exploded? What?" And AMC was pretty good too. So, yesterday was a divergence. We saw GameStop and AMC kind of split ways, where AMC went up a lot and GameStop went down a lot. Today, the brothers reunite. Uh, Both AMC and GameStop reacted and behaved pretty much identically today, where you saw uh, immediately right at the 10:30 time marker, AMC and GameStop both fell, and then they both surged at 11:08 around there, and then they both went down pretty much the exact same time, and they surged again at the same time around 2:20 p.m., 2 o'clock, and then they both went down again at 2:40. It's like clockwork, and then they both went up a little bit. But overall, they both finished at -5%, -5 for GameStop and -7 for AMC. So brothers are back together. I mean, the what happened yesterday was the stimulus checks people received, and they were just uh, buying up AMC, and actually mostly AMC, I would say. Maybe some were buying GME, whoever could afford it, but AMC was the more affordable play for them, and they made a ton of money on that if they sold by the end of the day. But regardless, they're in this battle with us, and they have to learn to hold. Maybe they're already veteran apes, so they already know the drill, and they're going to hold. They just added to their position. So that's all I have for this live update. This is a very important post, important that has come out of Wall Street Bets, and unfortunately, I just kind of glazed over it a little bit initially. But now that I look deeper into it, it is very. This is a very, very important post. This explains a lot because as much as the hedge funds can choose to hide the numbers of shorts, numbers of shares they're shorting, and naked shares and or naked shorts, I should say, and they don't have to disclose a lot of what they're doing in terms of their numbers. The beta is probably one of the few uh, numbers or statistics that they cannot fully conceal or sweep under the rug or manipulate to a certain point. It seems like although Yahoo Finance again and other sources are saying minus 1.7 to minus 2, Bloomberg is saying 8, minus 8. So I think the numbers from Bloomberg are more reliable. I think there's less of a um, what's the word? They're not like beholden to anyone. They're doing their job. They're releasing the numbers that not shareholders, but those people who own the Bloomberg terminals will need. These aren't people they want to screw with. They're not going to screw with these rich people. Those who own these terminals. Um, so I also would believe if we're going to use that, the minus 8. So that's a discrepancy of at least 6. If we're just going to take half of that, which is 3, and we subtract, two or 3 from AMC's beta, you're already at a negative, at least negative zero point 0.6 to as much as minus 1. So I'm leaning towards that the same issue, or not the same issue, but the same situation that GameStop has, where Bloomberg is saying it's minus 8. AMC is probably in the negative as well. It's also a negative beta in my mind, not only in my mind, but just from observation. Uh, that as much as the market, is volatile, and we see down days here, and the Dow Jones will go down one day, the Nasdaq as well. But when you look at AMC and GameStop to see, oh, did they go down too? No, they didn't. They just did their own thing because, again, they're being severely manipulated by these short sellers with their naked shorts and all that. So, and they're not covering their positions. They're using a lot of trickery to short these two stocks with their ETFs and a lot of other, multiple ETFs. So, you know what? And I also want to just say, uh, all of those invested in AMC and GameStop, I've said this many times, but your money is safe here, and you're doing a good thing with your money. So I know some people buy high and they're kind of anxious, that I bought too high at 13 or 14, or I bought GameStop too high at 300, or 400 even. I bought at 480. I bought AMC at 20, whatever the case. You know, this will, once this is the short squeeze completes and you hang in there, you're going to be rewarded for your patience, for your faith, for your trust in this movement, for trying to help these two companies to stay in business. This isn't just about making money, it's about doing the right thing. It's about helping these two, I wouldn't say struggling, but AMC what's struggling. Okay, they're both struggling in some ways, but they're both trying to stay profitable. They're both trying to provide people with employment, millions of workers, potentially, maybe hundreds of thousands of workers that are just trying to, you know, pay the bills and so on and so forth. And GameStop is part of, the video game industry. AMC is part of the entertainment industry, and a lot of people use those two avenues, video games and movies, to relax, to escape, to for entertainment. It's part of their leisure activities. And for a lot of people, they need those in order to have some sanity in these insane times. So you're actually doing not just these businesses a favor, you're doing a lot of people uh, favors, especially those who use these two outlets to relax and to de-stress and to have some kind of joy in the world. For a lot of people, they look forward to the next whatever movie it is, or they look forward to the next big video game, whatever it is, Halo or Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption. I don't know, whatever, Mario, whatever it is. Some people just they look forward to that, and um, that's what this movement is about: giving back to the community, helping people um, to be able to provide for themselves and their families. And I can't wait for this to happen, but we will have to wait. Unfortunately, that's just part of the. It's part of investing. It's part of the stock market. You can't just expect to buy a stock one day and then it's just going to go to a million the next hour. No, what I've learned in my 13 years plus of stock trading is I put my money in Nintendo initially, and that was before the Wii came out. I waited and I waited, and the Wii exploded, and it lasted for at least, I don't know, 2 3 years. And after those 2 3 years were up, I decided to sell, and I waited long enough, and that patience paid off because it gave me my first big victory, where I made $10,000 off the stock market from my initial investment of, I don't know what it was, but it was pretty small. So it wasn't 10,000. I didn't put in 5,000. I probably put in maybe less than half, maybe even a quarter, and that money just quadrupled. And then with Netflix, same kind of story. I wasn't as patient, unfortunately, that time, but I still made a profit. I mean, patience pays off. Entry points pay off if you enter at the right price, at a low enough price, and then you sell at a high enough price. So that's what it's about. And I think that's all I don't want to make it such a long video, but I just wanted to talk about that really monumental post. It really is a historical post. It's very important information. Looking at all these awards, wow, that's so many awards just on the GME subreddit. If I look at it on Wall Street Bets, you're going to see probably even more. Um, Even more appreciation for it, and how many comments it will have there too. So this has been reposted multiple times. Oh, okay. You know what? It's a little different on the GME site for this particular post. So I'm going to. The Wall Street Bets guy is dressed in a gorilla suit, which is funny because I just got my gorilla gloves, or not gloves. My mutation. I've been mutated. Okay, let me just look at this little closely. I think it's a little different on the GME subreddit. It says here, proof Wall Street bets are corrupt. Oh my goodness, this is pretty big. Extremely questionable, if not outright bought out. I posted this to Wall Street Bets right after posting it here on GME. They removed it in 10 minutes or less. So someone reposted it, and it was also deleted with a very questionable sticky comment. You can see how the sentiment and reception is very telling. Either way, GME holds. So it says here, sorry, this post has been removed. Yikes. It says negative betas are not nearly as rare as OP claims. OP has failed to provide a concrete, fundamental, or otherwise believable relationship between negative beta and short selling. I'm not calling OP a fraud or a shill. I'm saying this post lacks evidence for the intensity of claims. Okay, vindication 5 hours later. Um, the post got unbanned, and I guess a 3 day old mod was acting too blatant and not being low key enough for the higher ups. Okay, I'm new and still learning what to remove and what not to. My bad, guys. I effed up. I do want to be transparent when that happens. I sticky the reasons I deleted it, and in talking with more senior mods, I realized I should not have deleted it. Shame bell. So yeah, so I guess what he said initially, that there's no correlation between this and shorts, is probably false. This is a very strong post, and he did do his due diligence. He is uh, studying for his master's of finance of all things. So it says here, GameStop normally is better than a healthy market and worse than a bad market. It is now widely in the opposite direction of the market, implying effery, Fuckkery. It does not change the strategy if you're holding, but it might give you more confidence that it is the right play. Imagine there's a flock of geese flying south, but one is flying north. All of a sudden, the flock turns north, and that one single goose starts to turn south. The flock in this example is the whole market. The single goose, GameStop, and AMC. Okay, I only understand the stock market in terms of animals. Yeah, that's a funny post. I don't understand this crap. Oh, animals? Okay, I get it now. Okay, what? What a goose flying? Okay, yeah. What? I don't understand these numbers. Goose flying? Oh, I get it now. Except the single goose also flies south twice as fast. Yeah, good point. GameStop is the golden goose. Got it. Ooh, yeah, I like that. GG, good game, and golden goose. There you go. Actually, I named my portfolio that good game, but I also thought golden goose in the back of my head. So you know what? It's not even over yet. We're just getting started. Okay, last little thing I'm going to read here. I've been wondering if this is more a tail wagging the dog. Is it possible shorters have such an enormous short position on GME and AMC? I'm going to say that in brackets and ETFs. When the price shot up at the end of February, the I don't know what that is. Rainbow bears, gay bears. I don't know what that means. When the bears had to liquidate a multitude of other holdings to increase their liquidity to buy into calls in order to cover their shorts and or buy and due to margin calls by their prime broker. And that possibly this huge sell-off helped tank the markets as a whole. Wow, yeah. That's actually an interesting thought. Wow. Good job, Zax. Possible timeline. Here it goes. GameStop shot up from $40 up to $350. And then the shorters got squeezed because they had taken short positions all the way down from $480 in January, and yeah, went to 40. But then when it went back up to 350, they didn't cover themselves. They're like, oh shoot, what the heck is happening? It's happening all over again. And then it says here, as the price shot up, some small shorters were bought in by their prime broker, liquidating their other holdings to cover their short losses. Okay, so they had to sell their other shares, their other holdings, their other stocks, just to cover their losses when it came to GameStop. Others, like Citadel, may have had enough cash to buy, possibly naked, call options, to effectively limit their downside risk if it had mooned. Wow. But to do so, they needed lots of cash and had liquidated some of their other holdings to afford it. So, recall some of the posts, I think from yesterday, the last couple of days, that said the hedge funds lost a total of, I think it was billions, like hundreds of millions or billions of dollars because of what is happening right now. Not even squeezed yet. So they're bleeding a lot of money, and we haven't even gotten started in terms of this gamma squeeze, short squeeze, infinity squeeze, whatever, massive mother of all squeezes. Though these sudden drops in the market were blamed on Jay Powell, I think that's a person, Jay Powell, and his views on inflation, the response from the market doesn't logically make a lot of sense. Yeah, that's true. I posit that it's possible the negative beta is a result of massive liquidation. Selling drives prices down. Okay, selling drives the prices down. Yeah, of other whole. Excuse me. So he's saying it's possible the negative beta is a result of massive liquidation of other holdings. So they're selling off their other shares, other stocks. Uh, So the hedge funds are doing that to pump more money into the GameStop fight so they can stay afloat and not be defeated by this movement by GameStop and AMC, these giant gorillas. With a combination of huge buying, probably shorters that go bought in. What? I don't know what he's talking about anymore. With a combination of huge buying and huge shorting, and a huge jump in the on the money call options being purchased. Yeah, so that's also other factors. This all leads me to believe that the hole these guys are in, the hedge funds is way deeper than anyone can imagine. It's like rock the socks off the whole market deep, like a neutron bomb exploding in your bum deep. Why else would everyone be in on it? MSM hedge funds, MMs. I don't know what MM is. It's market makers. So many shills, so many trolls. I can't believe this level of activity is cheap. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's expensive. Um, so he's saying the negative beta is a result of massive liquidation of other holdings so they can stay in the fight. And this person responds, for sure. It is not only short hedge funds liquidating their other positions to buy back shorted shares, it is also retail investors and long hedge funds. So hedge funds that are good, they're hedge funds that are actually good, not just evil ones, that liquidate lots of their other positions because they want to participate in the squeeze on the long side. I too sold most of my other positions to reinvest everything in GameStop. Yeah, I did the same thing. I had a lot of stock in like Vaxart and all these other companies. I sold all of that, almost all of it, like 90% of it, and bought in GameStop when it dipped to, started going up. It was like at 130 at that point. As a result, the market is tanking while we were doing this. Oh, yeah, right. Because we're selling all the other guys. That's why it's, oh my goodness. I didn't put two and two together. So GME is the new VIX, but VIX with no decay and with a dividend. And we've got, how about that, boys? Oh man. Okay. If the beta was positive in December 2020 for GME, shouldn't hedge funds have been already shorting the stock from way before then? They were counting on GME going bankrupt due to COVID. So why is beta still positive? Yeah, that's a good question. My understanding from reading this is a negative beta indirectly relates to a stock being shorted. At the end of the post, he says the negative beta. Oh my goodness, my screen's about to shut off. Let me just read this. The negative beta is because we're buying the dip. He ends with the beta was still more than one, even during the pandemic. It must have been safe for them as long as a large number of investors were not buying up GME and holding. Oh my goodness, that's what's happening. Good job. We bought the dip so hard we're flipping signs on the beta. I'm so proud. Yeah, so that's it. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you for all the support, all the viewers, all the likes and subscribers. It was a wonderful time to be alive. Oh, man. Apex Investor signing out, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for your next daily update.